Yo, Philly, listen up because the link is buzzing with some wild developments that nobody saw coming today. From a massive locker room crossover that has social media in a frenzy to a hypothetical Blockbuster trade that would shake the entire foundation of the NFL landscape, we have a lot to break down for the Birds. You need to stay tuned because one of these moves could redefine our offensive identity before the next draft. Subscribe to the channel right now to stay ahead of every single Eagles update immediately. Hollis Thomas is the name on everyone's lips right now across the 215, but it ain't for what he did on the defensive line back in the day. Man, this city loves its Birds, and when personal lives of our legends start crossing paths, you know the gossip is gonna fly faster than a deep ball from Jalen Hurts. Word just hit the street that Susie Selleck, who used to be married to our legendary tight end Brent Selleck, just went public on the gram with a new man, and it turns out to be none other than the big fella himself, the former defensive tackle who spent a whole decade holding down the trenches for Philly. It's a wild Philly sports crossover that has fans doing a double take because we're talking about two guys who were absolute staples of the franchise. You remember how the big man used to clog up those running lanes? A real blue-collar guy that embodied everything this city is about, and Brent was that gritty, tough-as-nails tight end who never shied away from a hit. Seeing their lives intersect like this is just peak Philadelphia sports culture, man. Social media is absolutely losing it seeing these two together in the photos Susie posted, showing they are officially an item. It's one of those only in Philly moments where the family tree of the Eagles organization just gets a whole lot more interesting. People are out here debating the locker room dynamics of years past, even though these guys played in slightly different eras, but the connection to the city remains ironclad. It's a reminder that once you're a part of the Birds family, you never really leave the spotlight, even when it's about who you're grabbing dinner with on a Friday night. Whether you're cheering for them on Sundays or following the off-field drama, this city stays invested in its heroes. Now, while the fans are busy chatting about the social media tea, the front office might be looking at a move that would actually change the product on the field, and trust me, this next one is a total game changer for the roster. Yo, if you're a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button and let me know in the comments if this news caught you off guard. A.J. Brown is currently at the center of a hypothetical trade proposal that has the entire NFL world scratching their heads and Birds fans screaming from the rooftops of South Philly. This ain't just some small move. We're talking about a proposal that would send our superstar wideout and multiple first-round picks over to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Now, just think about that for a second, because it's absolutely mental to even consider moving a guy who has been the heartbeat of our passing attack since he stepped off that plane from Tennessee. The idea is to create a defensive front that would be practically illegal in 48 states, pairing Garrett with our young stars to create a pass rush that would keep every quarterback in the NFC East awake at night. But at what cost, man? Giving up a top-tier receiver who has developed a telepathic connection with Jalen Hurts is a massive pill to swallow. We saw what this offense looked like before he got here, and it wasn't always pretty. This proposal is sparking heated debates at every bar from Broad Street to the Jersey Shore, because while adding a generational talent like the defender sounds like a dream, losing the explosive playmaking ability of the star receiver could be a nightmare for our scoring potential. It's the ultimate win now gamble that Howie Roseman is known for, even if this is just a hypothetical scenario cooked up by analysts. The draft capital involved would be huge, and the shift in team identity would be seismic. You're trading away the guy who makes the impossible catches for the guy who makes the impossible sacks. Is the trade-off worth it when our window is wide open right now? The city is divided on this one, but one thing is for sure, if a move like this ever actually happened, it would be the biggest story in the history of the franchise. But wait, because there's even more news about how we might actually keep our stars and add a new weapon instead. What do you think about this trade? Should we keep our guy or go for the defensive star? Drop a comment below. Eli Stowers is the name that draft experts are screaming for the Eagles to target in the second round, and honestly, this kid could be the secret sauce this offense is missing. Coming out of Vanderbilt, this standout tight end is the kind of versatile weapon that makes defensive coordinators throw their clipboards across the room in frustration. Analysts are looking at the way Kellen Moore likes to use multiple tight end sets, and they see the Vanderbilt star as the perfect complement to Dallas Goedert. We're talking about a player who has the size to block, but the athleticism of a wide receiver, allowing the Birds to stay in heavy personnel while still threatening the deep part of the field. If Howie pulls the trigger on this kid in the second round, it gives Jalen Hurts another massive target in the red zone and provides a safety valve that can turn a short gain into a house call at any moment. The scouting reports are raving about his ball skills and his ability to find the soft spots in zone coverage, which is exactly where we struggled at times last season. Integrating a talent like this into an already loaded offense would be almost unfair to the rest of the league. It would allow the Eagles to be more creative with their formations, moving this prospect around the line of scrimmage to hunt for mismatches against slower linebackers or smaller safeties. While everyone is focused on the big-name trades and the veteran free agents, it's these draft picks that define the longevity of a championship window. Bringing in a young, hungry tight end who can learn from one of the best in the game, while contributing immediately on third downs, is the kind of smart, forward-thinking move that this organization prides itself on. Imagine a two tight end set where the defense has to account for our starters, and then suddenly this rookie is streaking down the seam wide open. That's the kind of headache we want to give the rest of the NFC. When you look at these three stories together, you see the unique reality of being a Philadelphia Eagles fan. We deal with the off-field drama and the legendary history of guys like Hollis Thomas, which keeps the community tight and the conversations lively. It shows the deep roots players plant in this city, even when it leads to some unexpected social media headlines involving the Selleck family. But the real meat of the situation lies in how the front office handles the roster construction. The A.J. Brown trade rumors, even the hypothetical ones, show that the league views the Eagles as a team that is always one big move away from absolute dominance. Trading away a cornerstone of your offense for a defensive juggernaut like Myles Garrett is the kind of aggressive thinking that has defined the Howie Roseman era. It forces us to ask what we value more: an unstoppable aerial attack or a defensive line that can end a game in the first quarter. However, the mention of Eli Stowers as a draft target suggests a different, perhaps more sustainable path. Instead of gutting the roster for one star, the Eagles could continue to build through the draft, adding versatile weapons that make the life of our quarterback easier without sacrificing draft capital or established stars. This balance between blockbuster aspirations and smart scouting is why the birds stay at the top of the mountain. We have a culture that attracts talent and a front office that isn't afraid to take risks, but we also have a foundation that relies on blue-collar work ethic and young developmental talent. The impact of these moves, whether they are social, hypothetical, or tactical, all point toward a franchise that is never satisfied with the status quo and is always looking for the next edge to bring another parade to Broad Street. The future of the Philadelphia Eagles is looking incredibly bright, but it's also filled with the kind of high-stakes decisions that define a championship legacy. Whether it's navigating the complex social circles of former legends or deciding if a superstar trade is worth the risk of breaking up an elite offensive duo, this team never has a dull moment. The potential addition of a dynamic playmaker like Eli Stowers in the draft shows that the mission to upgrade the roster is never ending. We are witnessing an organization that knows its window is wide open and is willing to explore every possible avenue to stay there. This isn't just about winning a few games. It's about building a dynasty that the city of Philadelphia can be proud of for years to come. The passion of this fan base is the fuel that drives these headlines, and we're going to be right here to cover every single second of it. Make sure you've liked this video and you're subscribed so you never miss a beat when it comes to the Midnight Green. We're heading into a crucial stretch where these rumors could become reality, and you won't want to be the last one to know. Go Birds, and let's get that trophy back where it belongs.